judgment do you choose? I'm teaching on the Great White Throne Judgment. First, I want to thank the pastor for giving me the opportunity to teach. Although I consider this my church, he is the shepherd over this flock. And without his permission or authority, I could not even get up on the platform. And I want to thank Miss Susie, because she took time out of her week to go to the office and try to explain to me about the scriptures, and she even went actually asked someone else. And I want to thank John, because he's helped me with so many scriptures. I know he's been studying this for years, but he knows it a lot better than I do. So I just want to thank him for sharing his knowledge with me. Now, we should celebrate every day, whether for church or anywhere we're at, that we have a Savior that's willing to die on the cross that we could be saved. In Joshua 14:15, we have free will. We can choose this day to serve the Lord. There's only two choices. There's heaven and hell. And I don't know why anybody would want to go to hell. So the last time I taught you, it was about the millennium, the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. In Revelation chapter 20 and 3, and the angel cast Satan into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose for a little season. But in Revelation 27, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Well, you'd think he would have learned his lesson, that he would know he couldn't be God. But maybe he was just angry because for God sent him out of heaven, because knowing he would never return. Satan never planned being thrown out of heaven. He planned on taking God's place. But that didn't happen, and it's never going to happen. And when he got out of prison in Revelation 28, and he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog. And a lot of people think that's Russia and maybe some of the other nations, but I don't really know. Together to battle, the number of whom is the sands of the sea. Now, you can only imagine the people are going to be born in the 1,000-year reign. With the curse gone and the baby's not dying at birth, it's hard telling how many people is going to be there. Revelation 29, and they went upon the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and then devoured them. Well, the Bible doesn't give a scripture on how this might have happened, but we could assume he did it like in Sodom, Luke 17:29. But on that day when Lot went out of Sodom, fire and sulfur rained from heaven and destroyed them all. So it might just be like then. Fire could just rain out of heaven. Now, there's still a lot of mysteries left that we don't understand, and we may not know till Jesus comes back, but then we will. Revelation 20:10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And that's the end of the devil right there. The great white throne judgment is going to be for the unbelievers. Now, this is the last courtroom setting and the last trial to ever take place. It talks about it in Revelation 20, 11 through 15. There's only 5 verses in Revelation that tell about it, but there are many scriptures throughout the Bible that explains it to us. Revelation 20, 11. And I saw the great white throne and him that sat on it, from whom the earth, and the heaven fled away, and there was no place for them. So we don't know where the judgment is going to take place. We know it's not going to be in heaven or on earth, but it might be somewhere in extreme outer space. We just don't know. But the great white throne judgment is not a very pleasant lesson to teach for me. I like to teach something that's a little bit more uplifting. But with everybody teaching that the rapture is the next thing to happen, I feel an urgency sharing the gospel with those who have not accepted or not willing to live for Christ. Right. Revelation 20, 12, and I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were raised out of those things that were hidden in the books according to their works. Well, they don't have a commitment to God, so all they could be judged for is their works. They will be accountable for their words, their deeds, and the secrets they thought they'd hidden. They'll be judged by their conscience. No man can fool God because he knows their heart. Romans 2:6, who will render to every man according to his deeds, whether it's for his rewards for the good or punishment for the evil things he did. Matthew 10:36, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account of in that day. Matthew 12:37, for thy words thou shalt be justified, and by their words they shall be condemned. Romans 2:16, in the day when God shall judge the secrets of man by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. Now we have the Bible to teach us right from wrong, and even God speaks to us. He tells us when we're going to do something wrong. It's just a matter if we listen to him or if we go against him. 1 Corinthians 10:29, conscience, I say not thy own, but of the other. For why is my liberty justice of man's conscience? The Bible refers to man being judged by his own conscience. It emphasizes that our freedom of choice should not be determined by another man's conscience, but rather by God's conscience. So, like I said, we know if we do something against God or something, and we have to make a choice whether to do it or not. What's the difference between the judgment seat of God, which is also called the Bema seat, and the great white throne judgment? The judgment seat of God, when the rapture occurs, saints are going to meet him in the air for 7 years. Now, first the saints who have already died and come out of their graves to meet the Lord in the air. That means my mom and daddy, if we go in the rapture, my mom and daddy's going to go there before I do. They're going to meet him in the air. And then the saints who are left on the earth are going to go. And they're all going to be changed to glorified bodies. Now, I've been listening to John Kilpatrick teaching on heaven, and it's pretty exciting to tell you how much our glorified bodies are going to be changed. We're going to be younger, better looking, smarter, stronger. That's enough to make me want to go right there. It says in 1 Corinthians 15:52, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. That time, all unbelievers still living will be left on the earth to go through 7 years of tribulation of judgments. At that time, all evil will be turned loose on the earth, including the mark of the beast and the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. Whereas, and there's a lot going on here in this 7 years, whereas the next 7 years, believers will be with Jesus receiving the rewards that they have earned for their good deeds on earth. And they're not saved by their good deeds. They're saved by the grace of God, but at the same time, they got rewards for their good deeds. Sandy's going to have a lot of them. She does stuff all the time that people don't know about. And so she's not doing it to get man's approval. She's doing it to get God's approval. She's just doing it because it's in her heart to do it. And we're so glad that you're back. Things aren't the same. Things aren't the same when you're not here. I think we'll be told what our jobs are in the millennium. During the millennium, believers will continue the work of salvation, sharing the gospel with those who have not received it fully. Going into the millennium, everybody will be saved, but the mortal people will be populating the earth. Some of us will help rule the government, but no matter what we do, Isaiah 65:22 says God's elect will long enjoy the work of their hands. So we know we're going to be happy either way. We're going to be happy no matter what we do. There are no unbelievers on the earth after the tribulation. The believers who will come through tribulation will not, without taking the mark of the beast, will be in the millennium. There'll be mortal bodies, and they're going to populate the earth. Now, not all of their children and grandchildren will be saved and will follow Jesus. Some will be lost. You can imagine being in the millennium and Jesus Christ, our King. It's hard to imagine anybody that could be lost, that could turn away from him. But now they do nowadays, where we have churches all around, people witnesses all around, and now the great white throne judgment is totally different from the judgment seat of God. The people who live in a world by their own choices, the people who choose to do it their way, which they think they have no consequences, and everything we do has consequences. Some claim to be Christians, but never lived a Christian life. They hope by some chance their names are in the book. Some will cry out, "Surely, surely, my name is there. Look again, it must be there." There's some of them that's really persistent about it, but in Matthew 7:23, "And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity." Just imagine the horror of that moment. And there's a lot of people that's going to be there. I can't even imagine. I don't want to be there. The Bible teaches us hell is a horrible place. Matthew 13:42, place of wailing and thrashing of teeth. Luke 16:20-28 tells about it being a place of torment and flames. Mark 9:48, where the worm does not die and the fire is not quenched. I assure you, the lake of fire will be just as horrible as heaven is wonderful. Some Christians to be more concerned about the lost people. As the pastor was telling us a couple of weeks ago about the angels rejoicing over one sinner that's saved. Luke 15:10 says, "Likewise I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of God and the angels of God over one sinner that repenteth." Sometimes when people come to the altar and they're saved, we just seem to be unconcerned. Some of us, I mean, not all of us, but some of us just seem to be unconcerned. They can't wait to get out of here to go eat. Right. Or one day it'll be too late to even care. Some people just put salvation off to another time. Acts 24:25 tells about Felix heard Paul preach and he trembled. So apparently he must have felt the Spirit. Felix replied, "Go thy way, for this time, which I have a convenient season, I will call for you." His open door passed, his season never came. Don't let your opportunity pass you by. Right. Hell is an invocable place. After unbelievers die, they have no hope for the future. Death seals their fate. Now we have a choice. Joshua says, "Choose you this day whom you will serve." Like I've said, the great white throne judgment is for the unbelievers. The unbelievers will not be resurrected to after the millennium. God will cause the unbelievers to stand before the great white throne. We don't know how he's going to do that, but he's God. He can do that. Philippians 9-11, "Wherefore God also has highly exalted him," meaning Jesus, "and has given him a name which is above every name." Philippians 2:11, "And every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father." So I think the believers and the unbelievers, everybody on earth is going to confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Even the unbelievers that they've not did it all this time, they're going to be proclaiming it. And the sea gathered up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in it, and they were judged every man according to their works. Revelation 20:14, "And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire." Well, we asked, who's going to be over the judgment? Jesus will judge at both judgments. The judgment seat of Christ for the believers, and the great white throne judgment for the unbelievers. John 5:22, "For the Father judges no man, but has given all judgment to the Son." John 5:27, "And has given him authority to execute judgment, also because he is the Son of Man." He's the one that hung on the cross that we could have life. We can be assured Jesus is a fair and act judgment according to his wisdom and his righteousness, despite the fact that Jesus is the judge who will supervise the judgment. No decisions will be made that have not already been made. For once a person dies, his fate is sealed. Hebrews 9:27, "And it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this is the judgment." John 8:15-16, "You judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me." Some believe the lost get a brief look at the saints of light before they descend into the regions of everlasting night. Now, they witness the bliss of those who chose the way for holiness and life. They see the glorious future of the righteousness. They will understand what they have missed. Luke 13:28-30, there will be weeping and thrashing of teeth when you shall see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all of the prophets of God, and you yourselves thrust out. So, is the punishment in the lake of fire eternal torment? Yes, it is. I think their bodies will be restored, not glorified bodies, but they'll have a body, because in Matthew 10:28, and fear not them which is able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to kill the body and soul in hell. Will there be degrees of punishment in the lake of fire? There will be degrees of punishment, just like there's rewards for the believers. Although hell is going to be awful in the smallest judgment, I think there will be degrees of punishment in hell. I don't think Hitler will experience the same hell as someone who just didn't accept God. But hell will be awful for any unbelievers, although heaven will be wonderful for unbelievers. 1 Corinthians 2:9, rather is it written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the hearts of man the things which God has prepared for them that love him. But for the unbelievers, the people who reject God, the lake of fire will be just as bad as heaven is good. The Bible tells us how bad hell is, and now we have to make a decision for our destiny. I know Wednesday nights, mostly only Christians come to our church anyway, but we are blessed to be on Facebook and YouTube. John has told me that even someone from India called him. So I pray this message will go out into the world. If there's any question in your heart about where you're going when you leave this world, take a moment to say, I just want to be sure. Forgive me of my sins. Please restore me to the place where you want me to be. I know Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, including myself. I did things that I shouldn't do. But Lord, help me walk in a way that would be pleasing to you, that I will know when I die to this world, you will say, well done, you good and faithful servant. That I know that I'm going to be in heaven throughout eternity with you. My prayer that God use this message to touch someone's heart and life to live for him. You choose which judgment you want to attend. I plan to go to heaven, and I pray I'll see you there. So, this is a hard message for me to teach anyway, because I don't want to make people feel bad. I want to uplift them and everything. But it's necessary, especially if the rapture is coming pretty soon. People have just forgot, and they're just pushing it aside, what they need to do. And I always want to be a witness for God. I think the ones here are top of the notch as far as God is concerned. And it's the most faithful. And Pastor Troy and Miss Susie, they have loved this church, and they truly show that they're people of God. And I'm just proud to be here. I'm just so thankful that I know them. And I'm so glad that I know Lori she tries with all her heart to see all the kids saved. That's her heart's desire. And Sandy and Buddy, I know that they give everything that they can to serve the Lord. And John, like I said, you know this better than I do. So I'm learning, and I want to teach other people. I want to teach other people. So if there's anybody needs anything to pray about, just come up here and we'll pray for you. But if not, we'll end this sermon. This has been a teachable moment for me because I've learned a lot too. And if you want to serve the Lord, you can, even at home. You, God is at your house, if God is there. Right. So anyway, I love you, and I thank you for coming, and thank you for listening to me, because I don't like to get up in front of people, but I'm doing this for God. So